Hello and welcome into this edition of the Wildcat Weekly Coaches Report here with women's basketball coach Casey Bunn-Wilson. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for having me.
So when we look at the game on Tuesday, it was an exciting, nail-biting game. Linfield wins by 2 points on a Molly Danielson game winner with 3 seconds left to go on the clock. Linfield didn't get anything easy in that game. They really had to work hard. What did you think of your team's performance there, really having to deal with some very tough defense from Northwest and just a tough game in general?
A game like that is always good to have preseason, I think, because it was close for 40 minutes. And so it was really good for us to overcome a lot of adversity. And so just to see my team work through that and finish out on top was really great for us.
Well, and you talked about it too. I thought one of the key parts of that game for Linfield was their team defense. They did a great job. They forced Northwest to only shoot 32% in the second half. They were +5 in points off turnovers. What did you think the key was defensively for your squad in that game?
The key was team defense and playing 5 players all playing tough-nosed defense, and I think we did a great job of that, particularly on the rebounds. Our goal for them being so big inside was one and done, so we wanted to eliminate or decrease their offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities. So I think we did a really great job of that, and just getting down in a stance and playing hard-nosed defense.
Well, and you talked about the rebounding as well. That was something that you were really emphasizing coming into this week. And Linfield wins that margin quite handily, actually, in double digits. The guards really chipped in. Cassidy Schutz had 9 rebounds in that game. So when you see so many different players getting involved in helping out, how huge is that to your program?
Yeah, it's massive. You always expect post players to get the rebounds, but for them to do it consistently, and then for the guards to be in almost double digits or have several guards with several rebounds is huge and something that we've really been emphasizing. But, we didn't have a great shooting percentage that game either, and so my team did a great job of finding a way to win and, finding a way to be successful regardless if the ball was going in the hole or not. And I think that was huge for us in terms of maturity and growing this early in the season.
Well, and now looking over at the offensive side of the ball, it wasn't always pretty at times, but you got a lot of different players that got involved. So again, going back to Cassidy, she doesn't score, but she gets 9 rebounds and 6 assists. Jordan Feinauer adds 8, and then you had Delaney Reagan and Molly Danielson combined for 36 points. They had to work hard, though, for all of those buckets. When you see how so many different players, again, are getting involved, how are you going to kind of tinker with the offense maybe a little bit, trying to get more players involved, or just trying to make it a little bit easier to score? It's been tough as of late.
Yeah, and I think that will come with each game on how tough or easy it is to score, but I think just understanding that players can contribute in other ways, and we can't always determine if the ball is going to go in or not. Do your best, but you can never determine that. But things that you can control, like defense and rebounding, are something that has to be consistent across the board, and so just focusing their attention on that instead of if shots are going in or not, I think is big for us going forward, and just our growth and, as Steve says, competitive maturity. And I cling on to it because it's true. There's just so much that players can bring other than scoring. So we're trying to emphasize that.
Well, and I think you saw it too. So second leading scorer Corey Olson just couldn't buy a roll in that game. She had so many opportunities. She was getting into great spots, and it just didn't go down. But she didn't let that bother her. She was still right there at the top in the rebounding department and doing a lot of other things. How excited does that make you, seeing that even when your top 2 scorers maybe don't have their best games, there's still a lot of support there for them?
Yeah, and she was taking great shots. And, there's nights like that. And so for her to, she got the big stop at the end defensively that allowed us to put us in the position, to tie it up with 12 seconds or 14 seconds on the clock. So it put us in position because she got that stop. So yes, realizing that she brings other things to the table, and, sometimes the ball doesn't go in the hole. So you got to find a way.
Well, so do you also take any stock? Again, it's really early in the season. You don't know who everyone else is playing against, but Linfield is still right there in the top of a lot of categories, both offensively and defensively. Number 1 in assists right now for a team, and also in the top 5 right now in just defensive statistics. Do you take any stock in anything like that right now? Do you kind of build around that, or, we'll wait for the conference season?
I think we more so focus on what we need to do and our goals for each game, as opposed to how we are in the conference. And I think this early we're just focusing on things that we can get better at and improve each game and grow, and that's great that we're in those top categories, but I just think just focusing on what we can do to get better.
And so lastly, we get into kind of an interesting stretch here in the month of December. So you guys play 2 games in the next 27 days. The girls will be plenty busy. They have finals, final projects, things like that. When you have all this time off, how do you kind of balance the practice schedule with you knowing that the girls have a lot of academic obligations that they have to fulfill here near the holiday season?
Yeah, so they're student athletes first, which as coaches we have to remember. So giving them some time off and balance that with maybe shorter workouts, or we're doing an inter-squad scrimmage, so breaking that lull up in games, but just allowing them to get what they need to get done in the classroom, and then be able to get back on the court and stress-free or less stress, and just get after it. And just I think understanding that it's good to have a break of studying and get some shots up or get their cardio in or whatever it is, but just having a good balance of that, and taking care of our bodies. We're a little bit banged up right now, so getting everybody back healthy, and so once we start these next few games in January and when we start league, that we're full throttle. So yeah.
So Linfield has 2 home games here to wrap up the non-conference schedule. They'll be December 19th against Vancouver Island, and then a little bit of a long layoff December 30th against Corbin. So we hope you come out to those games. But Coach, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you.